What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and for the first time in the 2025 college football season, I've got a 5 takeaways video for you. So we did not do this the first couple of weeks. I just kind of talked about the games when I did my top 25, but from here on out, we will be doing a takeaways video every Sunday after the games, more than likely. I mean, there could be one week where for some reason I don't, but that's the plan anyways. And you might notice we've kind of rebranded or gone back to some of the old branding here on the channel. So I am still part of the Voice of College Football. That has not changed, but we had some plans on this channel to do some things that were going to be beyond what I was doing. We were going to have some other people, some other shows and things that really just didn't pan out. So moving forward, I will be doing the majority of the content here on this channel. So it's going to be kind of back to the good old days here. If you notice, we put the intro back on the front. Maybe I'll continue to do that going forward, and then putting the blue back in the branding as well. So yes, if you're a fan of SG1, of me, and the videos that I do, you're going to see a lot more of that. Some plans moving forward for some live shows and some other things. I'd really like to connect more with all of you. And you can help support me, support this channel by becoming a member. There's a link down in the description below. We'll have more on that maybe later, but let's just get into the takeaways. All right, first takeaway from week 3. These all looked like playoff teams to me. When I watched Tennessee, Georgia, when I watched Notre Dame and Texas A&M, I felt like I was watching playoff games. These games were so good. The teams were so good. The games so competitive. I mean, this felt like it could have been the semifinals for the college football playoff. I mean, these games just really good. So let's just get into them. And on the flip side, when you watched a game like Florida LSU, those really didn't look like playoff teams to me. That did not look like a playoff game. I think maybe we have jumped the gun on LSU a little bit. We'll see. I mean, it's good that their defense is playing as good as it is, but they've got some issues on offense. So you're probably going to see them drop in my top 25 tomorrow, but really don't have a whole lot to say about that game other than the fact that Florida, just DJ Lagway, got to stop throwing interceptions, and they got to stop committing penalties. I mean, they're killing themselves. But the takeaway here really about these games, first of all, Tennessee, Georgia. Georgia was what I expected them to be. They're really good. They're a top 5, top 10 team. They're loaded with talent. Gunnar Stockton, I felt like as this game went on, got better and better and really made some incredible plays. So I think they're in pretty good hands with him. Sometimes I just feel like the inconsistency is not there with him, but the potential is there. And again, we know how loaded this team is, how much talent this team has. Tennessee, I was impressed with them in this game. I mean, I was probably more impressed with Tennessee. I didn't think they were really even going to keep this game all that close, and they really probably should have won it. If the kicker makes that field goal, if they don't get the false start maybe and drop back 5 yards, maybe he does make that field goal, because they would have, they ran that play and they were going to get in the center of the field. But Joey Aguilar, wow. I mean, I was just really impressed with him. I did not know that. I just didn't know he was that good. I'll be honest. I didn't really watch him a lot at Appalachian State. His deep ball, some of the throws are a little bit risky, but he still throws a good deep ball, and his receivers are making plays. They were able to, especially early on, they had Georgia on their heels big time. 3 straight touchdown drives to start the game. Did kind of feel like they took their foot off the gas a little bit, and maybe that's what cost them in this game. At the end of the day, I don't know that Georgia, I can't say Georgia was definitely the better team. I think it was a game of 2 really good teams that came down to the wire, and that's the exact same thing with Texas A&M and Notre Dame. You had a missed kick, the difference in this game as well. Well, not a missed kick, but a bobbled snap on the extra point, a mishandled snap. So, if Notre Dame kicks that extra point, who knows? This game probably goes to overtime, and who know? We don't know who would have won it in overtime. I think Notre Dame's just fine. I think they have a really good shot to win the rest of their games. I think they can get to 10-2 and make the college football playoff. That's actually what I predicted on my playoff predictions last week. So yeah, I think Notre Dame is okay. Obviously they can't lose another game, but two really close losses for them. Miami and Texas A&M here, and those are, in my opinion, both going to be playoff teams. At least how it looks right now. So I don't think your season's over if you're Notre Dame. This is still a really good football team. CJ Carr played pretty well again. I think he's going to have a really bright future for them this year. And for Texas A&M, the growth of Marcel Reed as a passer that was the big takeaway for me. And the receivers making plays for him. I mean, this is a totally different passing attack than what we saw last year. And they're still able to run the football. They got great running backs. Marcel Reed really didn't run it a whole lot, which was interesting to me because I felt like he had some opportunities to maybe run it more. He's a very good runner. Texas A&M's defense made some big plays in this game. It just looked like two really good teams going at it. And again, I felt like I was watching playoff games when I was watching these four teams. So I think all four of them might be in the playoff. I did not think I was going to say that about Tennessee. The other three teams I have had in the playoff, but Tennessee, it's crazy that they lost, even though they might have been the most impressive, at least compared to what I thought I was going to see, the most impressive team in week 3. So hats off to these four teams playing some great football games, and I think we will see a lot more of these four teams later on this year in big games. All right, let's go to number 2. Miami is legit. I think it's clear. I know it's early, but when they beat a very good Notre Dame team, and then they go out and just blow out a South Florida team that has already proven, South Florida has proven they are good. That's a good football team. They beat Boise State easily. They beat Florida. Maybe they're not a playoff team, but they're a good team. And for Miami to beat them the way that they did, it's just Miami, they've built it in the trenches with Mario Cristobal. They've slowly gotten better and better up front, and they've got, at the line of scrimmage, on the offensive line, defensive lines, they've got guys that can play with the elite. I mean, they've got 5-star talent at those positions. And so it really just comes down to, first of all, could you replace Cam Ward? Carson Beck, yes. I mean, he's not the same exact type of player, but he's got a great arm, and he's played very well for them. They've got a good stable of running backs. They got Tony, the freshman, at wide receiver, has really stepped up for them, so the wide receivers have come through. Like, they're answering all the questions on defense. Well, that was a big question mark. They're looking really good there as well. So Miami is legit. I mean, this is a team that maybe I shouldn't say this at this point. This is a team that might win a national championship. That's how good I think this Miami team could be. So watch out for the Hurricanes. I really want to see Florida State in another big game. Is this Florida State team maybe on this level? I don't know. It doesn't seem like Clemson is, and that's our next takeaway. So Clemson, they've got a lot of work to do. And then on the other side, Georgia Tech, I think, is a real contender in the ACC. So we'll start with Clemson. It's not over for Clemson. If they win out, if they win the ACC championship, they're going to make the college football playoffs. So their season's not over. But the team that we're seeing on the field right now is not the team that I think they can be and they have the potential to be. They've just got a lot of work to do. I think everyone could see in the preseason, this team had talent. This team had the players. They're just not living up to that. I don't know exactly what it is. If they can get things fixed, Clemson's, again, could be back in this conversation later in the year. But if they continue to play the way they're playing right now, this team is probably going to lose, at least 1 or 2 more games. And they're going to be nowhere near the college football playoff. So a lot of work to do for Clemson. If you're a Clemson fan, you got to be disappointed. This was a tough game, though. Georgia Tech is a good team. I think Georgia Tech is a real contender in the ACC. They're now that they've beaten Clemson, the rest of their ACC schedule is not horrible, and they've got a real chance to maybe get into that ACC championship. I'm looking at Miami, Florida State, Georgia Tech. Maybe those are the 3 teams. Could Clemson bounce back into this? We'll see. But just very disappointed in the start here for Clemson, a team that I was very high on. I did have them going 10-2, and I did have them losing to Georgia Tech, but just watching them, they're not the team that I thought they were going to be. Even though, again, they've only lost 2 games, and I did have them losing 2 games. It's not the team I thought I was going to see, and we'll see if they can get it fixed. Let's go now to number 4, Oregon. They might be even better this year. This team really, really good. I don't people shouldn't take for granted what they just did this week. I know Northwestern has not looked great so far. But for them to travel and play, a 9 a.m. kickoff for them, and to play a veteran Northwestern team with, not a lot of people in the stands, I'm telling you, that's hard to do. It's hard to get up for a game like that. It's one of those sleepy environments or whatever. It may be a little bit of a slow start for them, but the thing for me is Dante Moore. This is, I watched him at UCLA. He's a different player now, and maybe it was just what was around him there and what is around him now. but he looks really good. And I'll be honest, I haven't watched every snap of every Oregon game because their games have been getting, turned into blowouts so quickly. But what I have seen from him, he has been very sharp, very accurate throwing the football, good decisions. That's the difference for me from what I thought. I thought Oregon was going to be a playoff team, but with him playing the way he's playing, now this is a team that could win a national championship this year. They're loaded with talent. Decorian Moore at wide receiver, this guy is really good. So you've already added a guy that can help you out there. It's just a really good football team. Dan Lanning's a great coach, and Oregon going to be in this conversation again this year. And like I said, this team might be even better than they were last year. We will see when they play Penn State here in a couple of weeks. Number 5 takeaway, Alabama isn't done. If you watch my video on Thursday, a new series we're doing, it's 5 expectations for the week. One of my expectations was Alabama is going to look like Alabama, and that's exactly what we saw. Now, Wisconsin isn't great. I don't want to give a ton of credit to the defense. They did play really well defensively, but Wisconsin just did not have very good offense. But Wisconsin does have a good defense, and Alabama's offense played really well in this game, especially Ty Simpson. A lot of people in the preseason saying he was going to be better than Jalen Milroe because he was a more accurate passer and all that. Maybe they were right. Maybe they were right about that. We'll see. Again, I don't know if this Alabama team is a playoff team. I'm not going to overreact to this game. But if you thought they were just going to fall off and this was going to be a 7-5 type team, there's just way too much talent there. Kalen DeBoer is a good coach. And the Florida State game, I know it was a shocker, but don't count out Alabama. I think they will be able to play with Georgia in a couple of weeks. Not saying they'll win, but I think that'll be a competitive game. That'll be another game like Georgia, Tennessee, like Texas A&M, Notre Dame. It'll look like a playoff game. It'll be a huge game, and we're going to find out a lot more about Alabama in that game. If they get blown out, then all of a sudden, okay, maybe Alabama's not really in this conversation, and Wisconsin just wasn't very good. But if they are competitive in that game, even if they lose, the rest of their schedule, they could possibly win out. I think it'll be tough. But yeah, I think Alabama is a team you cannot sleep on. Don't count them out just yet. And I think they proved that they are still a really good team and they have a ton of talent with their win over Wisconsin. So those are my 5 takeaways from week 3. Give me your takeaways down in the comments below.